Well, it's been a while since we've had an offshore recording for you guys, and I apologize. The videos or the audio is a little messed up on this with the camera that day. I gotta get a replacement camera, but I'm back in the Corpus area fishing, and I finally got a kingfish on, towing me around a little bit. I'm kind of skipping around in the fight so that I can show you enough of the fight without getting it boring. But this is mid-morning. I'm on the way in and finally drifted some ribbon fish deep slowly and picked up a king by this rig about 2.5 miles offshore. One of the things people tend to forget when they're fishing near shore like this is that if you're in less than 70 feet of water and you're in a motorboat, you need to turn off that motor and drift if you want to get those fish close. The boat behind me here has done the smart thing. They hooked on to the rig and they're just hanging out downwind and they're catching some fish. But I dealt with boats all morning long that were insisting on trolling back and forth, and they were really struggling to catch fish, especially Spanish mackerel. I ended up with 25 Spanish mackerel caught this morning. It was easy from a quiet kayak, but as soon as a powerboat would pull up and try to take in or take part in the fishing that I was doing, the fish would shut down and run to the other side of the rig. So I spent a long time kind of playing keep away from the boats, staying on the other side of the rig so that I could stay in the fish. But being quiet really does help. So with this kingfish, you can see I'm not horsing them. I'm taking my time. They only sprint for a few minutes, and then they're mostly angling and running in circles and just trying to stay out of the boat without running out of a lot of energy. And so he's going in circles. He'll slowly tighten those circles and come closer. And you don't want to horse him. You just want to take your time. I'm keeping him away from the other lines and looking for my chance. Here's the first time I'm going to get a hold of that line, test him just to see what's he like. He's pulling a little too much. But every ounce of energy you bring out of him, they don't recover quickly. So you're tiring him out. And what I want to do is get him where I can swing him around like that so his tail comes up within reach. And that was obviously not the time to do it. But he's only going to be able to pull that move a couple of times before he's more tired and he'll stop doing that. So we bring him right back around, let him make his circles a time or two, and I keep changing the direction of the pull on the line to try to keep him on the surface and laying up there. Can't quite reach his tail, he's a little too deep. I gotta let him turn around again. I get a hold of that leader, grab that tail, and he's still got too much energy. He rips his tail out of my hand, out of my grasp. That's okay. Let him come around again. And now he's tired. He's thrashing a little bit, but just hang on and keep a hold on him. That's their special move. They always splash some water on the screen. But you got an idea of he's a decent fish. The neighboring boat is cheering me on, let them see it. Then I've got to get the pliers. It's important to have pliers. You don't need a gaff, but you need a pair of pliers. So I wear those on my chest. I'm looking right down that toothy mouth, and I can see that treble hook a little further down. You can tell the boat's stable enough. I'm comfortable. Popping that hook out the back of his throat. Get all the tackle out, drop it into the water. And I'm gonna put him up. So I splashed some water. I noticed there was water on the screen, and then I pull out what is really valuable, which is a little chamois for car washing. If it's moist, you rub it slowly across and you clean your lens nicely. Now you can see the details, and he's a decent fish. I wasn't going to keep a fish that big, but he was hooked, and it took a while to get it out of him, and if I turn him loose, he's just going to die. So I'll take him. I got some friends that will eat him. And then it becomes an issue of, okay, turn around and open up that fish bag so I can slide him in there. Remember, I've got 15 Spanish mackerel already put in there. I've got to turn him around, maintain a good hold. Yeah, they're yelling over there. Maintain a good hold, but I've got to create an opening so that I can feed the fish in there. I've got my ribbon fish. I'm going to get one more bait and hook it back on after I get this guy put back in. But I gently feed him in so I don't rip up the sides of my fish bag. Got him squared away. Now bring in my wire rig. And the back two parts of the wire rig are stainless wire. And they will get very bent up in a fight. So I use those pliers to straighten out each section of wire, get it reasonably straight. The front section is the titanium wire, so it doesn't kink and get all twisted up, but the back sections do. So that's what I'm fixing now, is getting them where they'll run right with a ribbon fish. And then I hold that J hook in between thumb and first finger and hook them on. And then I'll let that fish lay against my forearm straight and just stick the treble hooks in with one part of the hook on each, wherever it wants to lay. Pull that red plastic bead down, put them back out there where they need to be so I can drift that bait. Test my drag back in the rod holders. And I use those wide rod holders because it keeps the baits further apart in the back. And it also allows me to keep that bait running deep. If it's like a shallow running plug, keep the rod tip down close to the water and it runs better. So I got my other bait, the Halco Max 110, put out there the right distance, and go paddle around a little more, see if I can't get another kingfish or two. It is one of those days, it's about 100 degrees. The wind is very light, so it's a miserable day. And so now I'm coming into the surf. I wanted to run the camera for the surf to show you what was there, but there's not a lot there. But it is enough, even on a small day. You can see I'm kind of catching that wave and rolling with it. Don't be afraid to move with the wave. The only price there is to pay is when that wave catches you and turns you sideways, like this next one will. You just need to brace with your paddle and stay calm and keep your balance. Waiting on that wave to catch me. There it comes. I'm a little off center, so I'm drifting out sideways. Just lean on that paddle a little bit till the wave passes, straighten up, and go on towards the beach. And as it happens, there's very little surf. I'm almost at the beach now. So just trying to make sure I'm close. Hook that up and we're done.